Hello and welcome back to the consistory of the Co-Elk YouTube channel. I'm your host for this video, Reverend Zabel of St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church, located in Dalby, Queensland, Australia. And welcome back to my part 2 video on whether aliens go to heaven, in which we are going to address the question, do animals go to heaven? Because in my previous video, I was answering the question, do aliens go to heaven? And I basically came to the conclusion that aliens are not humans, they do not have the image of God, and therefore should be treated alongside animals when discussing their salvation. And therefore, we're going to just answer this in our final question, do animals go to heaven? Now, before we get started with this video, I just wanted to take a chance to push my book, Do They Go to Heaven? A study on extraterrestrial life and salvation, which is available on Lulu, or you can also find it on my website, www.nightgeorgepublishing.com. In this book, I address the question of whether aliens go to heaven. In part 1, we focus on aliens, and in part 2, we move on to the topic of, do animals go to heaven? And you can watch these videos, but if you would like a further discussion and more research into these topics, go and buy my book and you can actually have a bit more thorough research and discussions and footnotes and quotes and all the great wonderful things that you can get in books, which we just don't have time for to go through in these short YouTube videos. But basically the question is, do animals go to heaven? And the answer, it's somewhat a yes and no. The yes is, I do believe animals will be either in heaven or the new heavens and the new earth, because there are countless passages in scripture that speak of animals being in the new heavens and the new earth. Now, this could be purely symbolic language, but I personally feel that it's more literal language and that there will be animals, especially since the idea of the new heavens and the new earth is that they are meant to be recreation and a perfected version of God's original creation. And if God created animals for his first creation, why would he not include them in the new creation? So I do believe animals will be in the new heavens and the new earth. Now, regarding this, however, if there are animals in the new heavens and the new earth, there are actually two different theories as to how animals get there. There is animal recreation, which is the view that the individual animals do not go to heaven, and so they won't be in the new heavens and the new earth, but that when God creates the new heavens and the new earth, he will just create new animals. Like in the same way that when God creates the new heavens and the new earth, there'll be new mountains, new trees, new rocks, etc. God will also just create new animals. So that the animals in the new heavens and the new earth are not any connection to the current animals we have now, or that have died previously. The other theory held by some theologians is the idea of animal resurrection or animal salvation, which is the view that animals go to heaven. And now the question is, so do we need to preach to animals? Which animals go to heaven? Do animals go to hell? The actual answer given by these theologians is that basically all dogs go to heaven. You see, animals were not made in the image of God. And this means that they don't have that same kind of relationship with God that we do. Animals are not given the law. A great example of this is we are told as humans not to murder, not to commit adultery. But look at the animal world. Not only do they kill all the time, but they're clearly polygamous and adulterous. And yet God does not condemn the bull for mating with multiple cows. So animals don't have the law. And if animals don't have the law, they don't have sin. Therefore, they are not born in bondage to sin, so they are not having to put up with the wages of sin, with his eternal death. So if animals do go to heaven, all animals go to heaven. And now the question is about animal resurrection. Now ultimately this is all an open question. We can't say one way or the other whether it's going to be animal recreation or animal resurrection. However, one thing in favor of the idea of animal resurrection is the question as to whether animals have a soul or a spirit. Now, this is going into the argument of the tripartite discussion, which is that humans are body, soul, and spirit. Now, that's a bigger argument for another video. But essentially, in Scripture, there is the flesh, your body, and there is also your spirit, And there is also your soul, yourself, your conscience. Now the main difference between a soul and a spirit, just to go briefly, is the spirit is like your spiritual essence, like your ghost, whereas your soul is more like it's yourself. In the Old Testament, the word nephesh used for soul is also like the word for self. It's your personality, it's your mind, it's the thing that makes you, you. And so basically, if you really want to make it very simple, your flesh is your physical essence, your spirit is your like spiritual non-physical essence, and then your soul is the thing that makes you an individual. It's you. It's what makes you you. And the thing is, Scripture uses the term nephesh, soul, and also the term ruach, spirit, to refer to both humans and also animals. Animals are said to have a nephesh and to have a ruach. So animals have both a soul and a spirit. What animals lack is that they don't have the image of God. That's why they don't have that same relationship with God as humans do. And so if animals do have a soul and a spirit, then what happens to their soul and spirit when they die? Well, either nothing or it just goes off to be in heaven with God. Personally, like I said, these are open questions, but personally I hold that animals have a spirit, and that since animals are not born in bondage to sin, since they are not under the law, they don't go to hell. And so, as I said, all of this is an open question, but my personal opinion, and by personal I'm not meaning the co-alc, I'm meaning literally my Pastor Jake's personal opinion, is that I believe in animal resurrection, and I believe that when an animal dies, its spirit goes off to be with God, awaiting the second coming of Christ for the recreation of the new heavens and the new earth. And that since animals are not under the law, and therefore not in bondage to sin, they do not suffer the wages of sin, and therefore all animals go to heaven. Which brings us back to our original question, do aliens go to heaven? And since I said aliens do not have the image of God and are thus to be considered alongside animals, since all animals go to heaven, all aliens would also go to heaven as well. So I hope that helps answer the question, do they go to heaven? I've been your host, Reverend Jake Zabel. Goodbye and God bless.